So I'm just going to do a little advert now, because today we should have been at the London Festival, Maternity Midwifery Festival, and because of the Omicron and all the COVID issues, we postponed it onto March the 1st. So it's still going to happen, and it's still a fantastic programme. And it's on the 1st of March at the Royal National Hotel in Bedford Way. It's a quick walk from either Euston Station or I think it's Russell Square. You can get there quite well. And we really hope that by doing this and by moving the festival, it would mean that lots of midwives and student midwives, doulas, healthcare support workers, all our normal audience would be able to make it, to listen to the speakers, take part in some of the workshops, of which we've got some nice tasty ones. And I've got on my little list, Eat Ridiculously Rich by Alana's fantastic cakes. But it is January and I need to keep you on the straight and narrow. You should all be eating nice and fruit and veg now, not eating ridiculously rich cakes. Keep those for March the 1st. And of course, there'll be a fantastic exhibition, loads of fantastic exhibitors who are there, very keen to speak with midwives and students and share lots of information and leaflets and the rest of it. So if you've already booked to join us and you want to come along to the venue, you just go back to your registration via your confirmation email and just update your booking. And if you haven't booked your place, why not get booking? Remember, it's all free to attend. And if you can't make it on the day for whatever reason, you can always get the boxed set, all free. And you can use it for yourself and share and everything. And just to kind of share with you, we did have the festival in Scotland, in Edinburgh, just before Christmas in November. And it was fantastic. I mean, it was we all had our masks. I'm looking around for my mask because normally we've got, every pocket has got a mask in, every handbag has got at least one mask in. And we were fully masked and we socially distanced and all the rest of it. But it was fantastic because we had 230 delegates, lots of students, lots of midwives. And we were all, luckily, because of the way the venue is, we were very able to do the socially distant stuff. But it was a lovely to be together. And I think I've said this before, I think what we've missed over this 2 years is these things like getting together, the things that we've taken for granted for so long, the little things where you can just get together with someone, have a chat and just share. Well, what's your unit like? What do you do at your unit? This is what we do, and making links that midwives and student midwives are so good at. So that's what happened at Murrayfield, and it was really, really good. And whatever happens, and in March and in later on in the year, we always will have this ability to have the requirements are met. And there'll always be the recorded box set, which will be available afterwards. So if you can't make it, you can always get that. And we have a little video, I think. I'm hoping it's all set up and you can see for yourself. And there's just a few little highlights from 2021 and in particular the Scottish Festival. So cue video. I can't believe that it's 2021. As well as you guys here, we've got a lot of people who are sitting at home or at work or in universities watching. So welcome to everybody who's come in to see us.
As the Chief Midwifery Officer, whilst I'm advising at lofty heights and supporting policy and everything else and being a leader, for our services in England. I also work clinically. So I just want you to know that I truly believe that to be an authentic leader, I have to walk and step in your shoes.
This is the pelvis. Now, this is what we're talking about right now, is nutation. Now, nutation is this is the sacrum here, and the nutation means it's nodding forward. Now, of course, I'm grossly exaggerating, but you can see what happens. It nods forward, and if it nods forward, it decreases the inlet, this part, the brim, because it's nodding forward. But it's increasing the outlet. And I remember as a midwife, I used to say to women, oh, don't worry, your pelvis is going to open. And I think, please don't ask me how, because I'm not quite sure. But it took me many years later and self-study to find out that actually nutation and counter-nutation is a thing. It's how the pelvis opens.
Now, preparation, what I would say is absolutely nothing prepared me for what happened for when I went into the clinic the next morning. And what I would say is I was brought to tears about 3 times during the clinic. And when we actually did the clinic the next morning, and you might remember on the news, this was when the bomb went off at the airport, and it actually went off in the middle of my clinic. And obviously women were getting notifications and were so worried about their family. And the level of kindness that I saw from the people inside the hotel that was trying to help the refugees, but also from the women themselves.
So when you see patients and you talk to them about the vaccine, how do you go about the counselling? So one way to approach this would be to talk about the benefits of the vaccination and then to talk about the risks. So the obvious benefit from the vaccination is that it protects you against COVID-19. But the other reassuring feature about the vaccines is that they are non-live. So the vaccines do not contain live COVID, and we have a lot of data on other non-live vaccines, such as pertussis, whooping cough, and the influenza vaccine, which is given every year. All non-live vaccines are safe to give in pregnancy. There is no data showing any harm from any other non-live vaccine. And there's no reason to suspect that the COVID vaccine would be any different to these other non-live vaccines.
A healthy baby is not all that matters in terms of a mother's mental health. Many women remark that when having a vaginal examination, the midwife will say, "Oh, I just did a sweep whilst I was examining you." My own experience was that I consented to a vaginal examination without realising what that actually entailed. I was very naive, and as the doctor inserted her entire hand into my vagina, at that stage, I immediately felt I'd lost all autonomy. At no point did I ever give informed consent to that. Please be the change. You are incredibly powerful people when somebody is at their most vulnerable. You can be the difference between walking out of the hospital mentally well and walking out with PTSD.
So what are the effects of unconscious bias on midwifery care? How do you think unconscious bias can affect the way we treat our women? So it can almost be a bit of a vicious cycle. So Black and brown women and birthing people are not treated with equity, leading to unacceptable levels of morbidity and mortality. They then become marginalised communities that become mistrusting of maternity services, and they might be reluctant to engage because their initial experience has been negative. We then label them as difficult and unwilling to engage, and the cycle of substandard care continues. So we put the blame on them. Oh, but they don't attend, they don't do this and they don't do that. But we forget about the fact that it's our bias that has actually made their care substandard. It's not enough not to be racist. You have to be, you have to do more than just saying, well, I'm not a racist. You have to push for change. You have to support us. You have to be our allies if you want things to change. Otherwise, they will stay exactly the same as they are.
I started by saying what we do ripples through generations. The environment in the womb now will influence whether that person, when they're an adult, will have coronary artery disease. Look up Barker's work if you don't know that work. What we do and say will ripple through generations. So it's our time now. And for every student midwife that's listening, junior or senior, do we do nothing? Do we do little? do we do our best? I think that we are being our best, we are doing our best, and we are absolutely doing what's right.